Delegate, you can't sit there. Okay, let's get going here. Right, do we have a quorum?
Yes, we do, 45 at Liskin.
How many?
45 at
4 or
Liskin.
5? Thank you. Good morning and thank you for coming. Have a lot of people here today, which is good. Okay, can we... What's that? Okay, minutes. Al?
The minutes of the March Delegates Assembly meeting are printed in the Cobrua reporter. Has anyone found any omissions, corrections, or additions to those printed minutes? Are there any objections to accepting the minutes as printed in the Cobrua reporter? Thank you.
Okay, President's report is that at the President's meeting next Monday, we're having people come from the county, code enforcement, to speak to the presidents and to the management companies about what to look for and what to look for in the county and here. I know there's a lot of talk about what's going to happen here in 2029. At the request of the exec board last week, I appointed 3 people, Sid Schwartz, Danny Siegel, and Susan Meltzer, to look into it, contact attorneys, and give us an update. So when we get the update, you'll get the update. So it's just beginning. What we have to do is get attorneys to do everything that's in our best interest. The attorneys we are contacting are the attorneys that did the original draft, the ones that represented the people in Century Village at that time. That's the law firm we're going to. So as soon as we get updates on that, you will get updates from me. Okay, treasurer's report, Lynn.
The month's ending balance in the checking account is $17,229. Our CD is $52,606 for a total of $69,836. Last month's balance was $70,894. Any questions? Thank you.
Okay, we have the Bylaws Committee with Alan Perlman. We have a problem with the bylaw, so I'm going to turn it over to Sid Schwartz. Sid, you want to take over, please?
Mike is going to be presenting a proposed amendment to the bylaws that was originally presented over a year ago, just before COVID struck. And so it was put aside because the delegates weren't meeting, and it's going to be presented again today. But our bylaws require notice of presenting an amendment to the bylaws. So I would like to make a motion, and the motion is to approve the reading and consideration of a proposed amendment to the bylaws without the required 14 days notice of the proposed amendment. Each of you should have a copy of the amendment on your chair. So I guess there should be a second and then consideration of my motion. Any discussion on it?
You have to go to the back of the microphone.
Right. That's what he's going to talk about.
Aren't they supposed to read it? They're supposed to read the text. Why don't you ask them?
Yes.
What is the purpose of
Please tell us who you are, please.
Joel Walensky, Ainsley?
Thank you.
I'm troubled by the requirement that is being changed that a permanent resident be here 4 months a year. First, we're having trouble getting quorums as it is. And if we
Sir,
change that-
excuse me for interrupting. but we're not at that yet.
I thought we were in
The only thing
discussion.
before the delegates right now is whether we're gonna waive the 14-day notice to present the amendment.
My apologies.
You don't have to
Accepted.
apologize. We'll probably discuss it next month, right, Sid?
Yes, it will be presented again. If you guys agree to waive the notice, it'll be read today and considered
It's supposed
today.
to be a written.
Then it'll be noticed again for next month,
They're looking to
and
waive. If they
considered
waive it,
again
then you
next
can make
month,
the speech, but
and
they
then
have to start
voted
with the
on
reading.
next
There's no
month.
reading.
They're not my rules, that's the rules of the bylaws.
Thank you.
So is there any consideration on my motion to waive the 14-day notice?
We voted yes, I believe, right, Al? Okay, well, let's go. Sid?
All in favor? Any negatives? So it's a unanimous vote for the motion.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay, we're gonna go to the security report.
Well,
Good morning. For the month of March of 2021, our recap is our officers patrolled 4,830 miles. We answered nearly 3,000 authorized phone calls at the gate. 3,500 contractors came into work, and close to 4,000 food deliveries took place during that month. At the pools, that security has a presence and is going around. We had 148 COVID violations at the pools. 148 instances, either individuals not having IDs, children at the pool, dogs at the pool, various reasons that we had to go out. For the crime report for the month of March, there were 9 instances, there were 3 frauds, and there's some posters that we have, there's a scam going on that individuals are calling and asking for people to buy gift cards. And that's gonna get in the Cobrua. Do not buy gift cards. If people call you on the phone, it's called the grandparent fraud. They say they have your grandson and they need you to go out and buy a gift card so that he can get out of jail or wherever he's at. Please do not fall for that. Please do not buy gift cards for anybody asking over the phone, whether it's the IRS or anybody else. This last month, we had 2 instances that residents assaulted each other. We had 2 instances that residents stole from each other. And we had 1 car tire stolen, and police have a pretty good idea what's going on there. And we had a report of a stolen vehicle, but when we got to the bottom of it, the resident's son took it to the mechanic, so there was no stolen vehicle. Which I'm glad to report that. And that is the crime report for the month of March. Questions?
You have to go to the back, miss.
Michael?
You have a question? Go ahead.
Steve, I realize that you don't make this policy, but since it's related to your report, I feel I ought to ask the question. And that is, this week there was an article called Ask a Real Estate Pro by Gary Singer. It was in the Sun Sentinel. And it takes up the issue of whether, they said an HOA, but of course we're a condo, but the principle is the same. Whether they may punitively close these pools because of misbehavior by 1 or 2 people who maybe don't even live here and can laugh about it, that they're not being penalized. Do you know if there's any inclination to review that policy? Why can't we prosecute the perps and not the victims? Thank you.
I would ask that you direct that question to the administration. Oh, you want to answer?
Good morning. I'll try and answer your question. First of all, in the article by Attorney Singer, he qualifies it by saying other attorneys may disagree with me because the law is not settled. Right now, Century Village is following CDC guidelines. We've expanded the number of chairs in the pools, and it's in process of being, added more chairs, with 3 feet being the separation zone. The policy is still, the pools right now, under these conditions, are for residents only, and guests are not allowed to be in the pool, period.
Chairman Siegel, the CDC does not recommend closing pools because one person violates it. So your statement that the closing policy is in compliance, I believe, is a bit of a stretch. Yes, they do have rules of distancing and so on, and I support the strict enforcement of that. But to say that this is CDC policy...
No, I didn't say that. I said CDC guidelines.
Well, they don't make guidelines about closing the pool if one person...
If you have a problem, my suggestion is contact Judy Millington, who's the site administrator.
Thank you.
Because right now, the regulations that we're following is based on the legal opinion of Boric or Sen West.
Okay, Sid has the floor. Sid?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I noticed you passed very lightly over the fact that the article was about a homeowners association issue. Please be aware, and I know you are aware, that's a separate statute. We're governed by 718, and homeowners are governed by a different part of the different statute.
720 to be exact.
Okay, anything else, Fred? Okay, Miss, tell us who you are, please.
I would like to ask you a question. How come 5 o'clock in the morning, the stranger came through the gate and security guard let him in and he stole the tire by the person? Now we live all together, but we pay for security guard and they stole the tire. Today they stole the tire, tomorrow they will steal the car, then they start to rob us. Didn't we pay for that?
Okay, let me address this. We've worked with the police very closely on that incident, and the individual that came in was not let in. The video was reviewed with the detectives. I've been working with them closely to identify the person. No one just let the person in. It was an invited guest of a resident.
Did they check his ID? Did they check what he bought?
Yes, everybody that evening from 10 o'clock on till 5:53 in the morning was checked, and all procedures were followed at the gate. Our security guard happened to be at the Guilford Pool and was on the way to Hythe when this incident happened. In 5 years, no one's ever stolen a tire. This was just a random act. And the police are concerned, and we certainly are concerned. And it's still under investigation by the sheriff's office.
Didn't they see the person get out? Did you have camera by the gate?
We do not put cameras in the association properties now.
Okay.
So what are you gonna do then? You all laugh because it's
You
not
should
your
go, if you
problem.
want cameras in your association, you should bring it up with your association at their meeting that you'd like to have cameras.
Okay, yes, sir. Go ahead, sir.
Steve Getzoff, Mansfield H. I know the answer to this question,
Okay.
but I want you
Go
to
ahead,
answer.
sir.
I want you to answer it to me.
Come on.
How many guards go around the pools checking for cards? And how often do they come around checking for guests that shouldn't be in the pools?
For the pools, we follow the simple rule that no guests are allowed at the pools. And the only way for us to determine that is by asking people for identification. And that's what our guards do.
No, they don't.
Well, can I say something?
No, they don't.
One
All right,
guard,
one meeting.
If you look at the rules on the board, it says cards must be presented when asked for identification by security. If I ask you now, or I don't ask you, that's according to the rules. We all moved into this association and people have, there's rules and regulations.
So now let me finish. By one guard comes by, sees like 12 people in the pool, and people sitting on the lounge chairs. She does nothing, he does nothing. They go up to the camera. The next guard that comes by, out of the pool, I want to see your card. Now, one guard says, I could care less. The other guard wants to see your card.
They could care less. It's done at random. We go to the pools an awful lot of times. Please have your ID when you go to the pool. And if the guard asks you, present it. If the guard doesn't ask you to present it, and you want to make a complaint that you want them to check more, then bring that complaint to the administrator.
Now let me ask you. There was an incident, somebody came down to watch their father. Are they considered a guest?
Okay, miss.
If they come
If
down,
you're not a resident with an ID card, you're considered a guest.
so they can't come down and watch their father, even if they're on the deed?
No, sir.
All right, let him answer. Well, let the security guy answer, okay? He's asking security will answer. Thank you. Go ahead, miss.
Hi,
Yes, ma'am.
good morning. Yes, I was gonna bring this up later, but since, am I closer? Can you hear me?
If it's not a security question, you're gonna bring it up later.
No, it's about the pool.
Okay?
Okay. So, I go to the fan shop pool, which seems to be a very popular pool, and let me just put this forward. I am thoroughly happy that you asked for ID. I think because of the times, only people that are residents here should be utilizing the pool. That being said, there needs to be, if the security comes by twice in a day, or they constantly come to a pool and they ask for your ID, they should try and get to know the residents so they don't have to keep pulling their cards. And
All right.
can I finish, please? Thank you. So if I'm at the pool 7 days a week, for example, and the security guards ask me for my ID, shouldn't they get to know that person so they don't have to know? Okay.
All right, let him answer, ladies and gentlemen, please.
Thank you.
Okay, here's, in the real world, I'd love to know all 8,000 people who live here by name. I would. But just like we asked at the gate, today you can live here, tomorrow you can be gone and come in here and be a former resident. And it can
Okay.
stop one day to the next.
Perfect.
Like we get people who call us and say, this was my visitor, and now there's a restraining order against my boyfriend. Just because I see him every day with the resident doesn't mean I'm not gonna ask him his name when he comes through the gate and flag him and call the sheriff on him. So we have to constantly check it. I can't leave it up to interpretation.
Okay,
By having
fine.
an ID is the only positive way that we know that you live here.
Okay, and do they have the other question I have is, the CDC guidelines are now 3 feet apart, okay? I just checked the fan shop pool. There are 10 chaise lounges currently out, and there are 14 piled one on top of another. There is enough space to get 30 chaise lounges in there at 8 feet apart. And I'd like to know when we are going to get all the chaise lounges and all the tables out there, getting back to normal. There is enough room in the fan shop pool to put everything out and be at least 6 feet apart.
Right now, the number is 42. We don't make that policy.
What do you mean
I just know-
42?
I just-
What-
42 between chase and chairs.
Where did you get
And-
that number?
That's the number that's provided to me by the administration. So what I would suggest is that you go to the information desk, there's a form to fill out and ask that question to the administrator
But
of the
it's not,
village.
but that 42 number is not CDC.
42 is the number that we are given to
Okay.
follow up.
I would just like to make a comment that there seems to be a problem with the CDC guidelines and how much the administration
But he
is.
just told you, miss, he just told you, fill out a form, put it to Sherry at the front desk, and you get your answer.
Thank you.
Take the mic.
I'm hearing this. Okay, my name is Mike Zimmerman.
Yes,
I live
sir.
at Guilford. I want to find. I want
Okay,
to,
ladies, come on. One meeting here.
Yes, I got you. The problem with the gate, people can go in and go out, nobody's questions. No security whatsoever. If you go in the back of the gate, the guard cannot see you. You can come in, you can go out. No security whatsoever. I went many times through it and nobody stopped. So, what can we do to improve the situation?
My suggestion is, if anybody ever sees a violation of one of our security officers, because this is all have to do with training and.
But he cannot see you.
So if somebody comes in, you walk in the gate and the security doesn't approach you, you call the clubhouse number, my extension is 333, and you tell me there and then what happened. I look at the videotape and I take appropriate action with that individual.
Because me and my wife would just go through it and say see if we're going to get stopped, and then never get stopped. Just to let you through. Because first of all, he doesn't see you. There's one guy at the guard, one guy at the post, and of course he's serving the cars. If you go on the other side, there's nobody looking. There's no window.
At the gate we have cameras that we can see both lanes coming and going.
Yes, but then this is not both lanes. This is going on the side of the lane. And we go through, no problem, nobody stopped us. We did it at least 10 times, just to see. And then my wife said, enough is enough. And she went up there and she asked, how come you didn't stop?
I'd be happy to meet with you after the meeting. You can give me specifics and I will look into it.
Well, I don't have specifics. I can just tell you what's happening. I don't have it written
Okay,
down.
excuse me, ladies, this is the last time I'm telling you. There's one meeting here, and that's the only meeting we're gonna have. If you wanna talk to somebody, go outside, please. I'm sorry, sir, go ahead.
Okay, so this is the thing, that there must be a sound way to control this. That's the only thing I'm saying. Because anybody can go in, so it really doesn't matter. Yes, so if he's not in a car, he will go in. I mean, when my wife went in and asked the person, how come you didn't stop me? He asked her for an ID. I mean, at that point, it was just a joke. Okay?
Sir, I will take this up with you after the meeting.
Fine, no problem. Thank you.
Joel Walensky, Ainsley. Back to the issue of the pools. The CDC guidelines now say that it is safe to travel if you've been vaccinated. In fact, the airlines have begun to reduce the middle seat vacancies. People are sitting within inches of each other with the approval of the CDC. Yet if I go to the pool and I move my chair closer to my wife, then everybody in my association is going to be docked because I moved the chair. It's ridiculous. Why doesn't that policy change? CDC guidelines.
Sir, you're gonna have to take that up with the administration, sir.
But Steve, with all due respect, I hear that all the time here. Take it up with the administration. Put a form. Isn't this body supposed to act as our activists with the administration? Shouldn't you be taking up these causes? I'm not asking you, Steve, I'm asking the board. Shouldn't you be taking up these causes of the people who have problems?
We do. We do bring it up. We do.
But every time it comes up here, Mike...
I don't interrupt here, and I let you talk. Because the same questions you're asking here, we ask at the M&O committee meetings. I ask the same question. They can tell you. I asked why is everyone punished because one person violated the rules, and I know. And the administration said that's the way it's going to be. They don't have to go by CD, they don't have to do that. It's their pools. It's not our pools. They own the pools, so they set the rules.
Well, who's advocating for
we
it?
We got them to move it, the chairs closer, and we kind of told them if they move chairs, let's not start throwing people out of pools because they move chairs. Just tell them to put the chairs back. So we're asking the same questions you're asking. It's not that we're not asking, it's just not that they're not changing. And there's nothing we can do about it. There really is nothing. Stanley will tell you. He's the chairman of the M&O committee. We bring this up every meeting. We listen to you. You don't think we listen to you? We do. Every meeting, we're saying, give the people a break. Now, I don't want guests at the pool, I have to tell you the truth. I'm for the ID cards.
I agree
That's
with
my-
the guests.
That's
I
my
agree.
big deal. My big deal is the ID cards, because we don't know what guests are bringing in, we don't know if they were vaccinated, and we want to protect the people here. So we're asking, they're not changing, and you want to know something? There's really nothing we can do about it, honestly. We're on your side, don't think we're not. I know Steve gets these same questions from everyone on the M&O committee. There's not one person on the M&O committee that disagrees with you.
Thank you, Mark.
Right.
Right now, with all this pandemic still going on, it's better to be safe than sorry. So we're a little...
Okay, that's not...
Lady, I didn't interrupt you when you were talking,
All right,
so you don't
okay,
interrupt
right,
me.
Right.
So unfortunately, things will lighten up, and we'll see a better time later on.
I know from all of this discussion, it seems that, I'm sorry, Mike,
Right.
with all this discussion that the pools are closed every day. Now, we had 148 times that there were violations. In the last week, we asked 120 people to leave the pool because they were visitors of residents. The amount of pools that are closed, we have 16 pools, they're open 31 days. The math says there's 496 pool days. 4 times an individual pool was closed. That's 0.8% of all the pools were closed in the whole entire month. An infinitesimal amount for the amount of times that we come out and the amount of times we ask people, please do this, or move your chair, or please have your person leave. The pools, 99.2% of the time, nothing happens. It's only when people are extraordinarily
Okay.
no, I won't say selfish, that if somebody's
Okay, all right,
if somebody's
okay.
gonna attack a guard, if they're gonna call, I've been called this last month a Nazi 3 times, a terrible human being once.
Okay,
And-
I think
Okay,
we
so,
kind of
I know,
understood
I
that.
understand, but
I think
this is what,
is, you know, well, anybody have anything else for security? Okay, thanks, Steve. All right, we're gonna go to the Bylaws Committee. Alan, that's yours.
Amendments to the Cobrua bylaws may be brought up by the president or by the vast majority of the residents in a petition, or by a consensus of the executive board. So the president brought up an amendment, and the Bylaws Committee took it up and discussed it. So I'm going to read a report of what happened at the committee meeting. This is the report of the Bylaws Committee meeting, March 1st, 2021. The Bylaws Committee met on March 1st, 2021 to consider a proposed amendment to the Cobrua bylaws. The proposed amendment suggested that the eligibility to be an elected officer of Cobrua be changed from shall reside in Century Village West for a minimum of 9 months during the calendar year to shall reside in Century Village West for a minimum of 4 months in the preceding calendar year. The proposed amendment also suggested that the eligibility to be a candidate for a position on the M&O committee be changed from has resided at Century Village West for at least 9 months in the preceding calendar year to has resided at Century Village West for at least 4 months in the preceding calendar year. The wording is different. In one case, it says resided at Century Village, another one says reside in Century Village. One of them says the previous calendar year. There are different languages, but the main change requested was Change it from 9 months to 4 months. After a detailed, thorough discussion, the Bylaws Committee came to a consensus that members of the M&O Committee must be able to see with their own eyes on a regular basis, year-round, what is needed in the village, keeping their fingers on the pulse of the community. For example, they should ride on buses and elevators, not just read about any problems from 2,000 miles away. They should walk on the paths, feel the hot sun, and look for benches when they get tired, not just read about it. They should drive by locations where new bushes or bus stops are proposed.
She's
See
got a
how
point.
it feels to drive on roads.
She's got a point of order, Michael. She's got a point of order.
You have to go to the microphone. There's one on each side.
Elaine Harris, Height. The point of order is that it seems that you're discussing the merits of the proposed amendment change as opposed to simply bringing it to the delegate's attention and then we go into discussion, where I think you're as free as anyone else to discuss it. The point of the Bylaws Committee, as I understand it, is to bring it to the delegates. I'm personally interested in what you have to say, but it seems the wrong time to be saying.
They vote on it next month.
That's not my point, but it's not, the point of order is, unfortunately, Alan's and the committee's opinion isn't part of what they've been charged to do.
According to the executive board.
Your point?
Can't hear you.
Right. You want to stay here, right? If you want to stay here, stop it.
I can't hear you. That's all I'm saying. I can't hear you.
Mike, he's saying to you, he can't hear you. No, I was just telling you, Fred was telling you he couldn't hear you. I finished what I had to say, Michael, which was that
Can you hear me now?
yes, I can.
Go ahead. I can hear you. Go.
I repeat, I said my point of order.
A point of order interrupts the proceedings, and that's why we stopped. But the proceeding is, you present an amendment to the committee considers it and decides whether to bring it up. The committee did consider it and decided not to bring it up, but somebody said, give a report on what the committee discussed to the delegates, so they will know why specifically
No.
you recommended against it.
There's no reason for the committee to tell us why you did or didn't. You've been charged with bringing it to the delegates. It's written up. Al Weinstein signed it. It was delayed, as we know, because of COVID. It's here for its first reading, which we agreed to waive. So why don't you read the amendment, let everybody think about it for a month, and then we can all discuss it next month instead of you seeding the audience with your opinion now, which seems inappropriate.
Okay, here's what really happened. Al Weinstein signed the original one, and it got lost. If
Didn't
original
get
one,
lost, it got,
you don't know, let me give you what really happened, okay? Al Weinstein, as the president, signed it last time, in accordance with the bylaws. It got lost. Alan was no longer the president. Out of respect for Alan, I resubmitted the bylaw. I signed this bylaw. This is not Alan Weinstein's bylaw. It's mine. I did it because Alan Weinstein was no longer the president, and the bylaw said the president can submit it. Out of respect to Alan Weinstein, I submitted this bylaw. Technically, it's my bylaw, not Alan Weinstein's bylaw.
Michael, are you aware that?
I know, I understand what you're saying. I just wanted to correct. You said it was Alan Weinstein signed it.
Are you aware that Alan Weinstein's name is on the piece of paper you gave out to everybody?
No, I don't know. It should be my name because I signed it.
I'm trying to tell you it's not.
Yeah, okay. Well, then that's, talk to the
I
bylaw
think
committee.
that's another point of order.
Then. This one has my signature on it.
Not the one you gave to the
The
delegates.
one they gave out has Weinstein's on it? That's why I did it, out of respect for Alan Weinstein.
Well, that's a very nice sentiment, but it doesn't follow the rules.
Okay. Sure.
And again,
Same
we voted a few minutes ago to waive the 14 days because it's been brought before the delegates
Right.
many, many times. Why are we not hearing the reading of the proposed amendment and then we move on to the next thing on the
That's what he's going
agenda?
to do. Alan's going to,
No, he's giving us his opinion and telling us what
No.
the committee thought.
no, he has to read it, then next month we vote on
Yes, we understand that. I'd like to stop the part in the middle that says your opinion is and because and why, and say that's better served next month.
The actual bylaws say that is done twice. It's done once at the April meeting and once again at the May meeting, or in another time of the year, once in October, once in November, at 2 consecutive delegates meetings.
Yes, agreed.
So,
I'm saying, why aren't you reading it instead of telling us your
Okay.
opinion?
so we will table the explanation which no one wants to hear and proceed right to the exact reading of the amendment.
Thank you.
The amendment was printed. Some of you might have a copy, you might not. Proposed amendment. Proposed amendment to eligibility, Article 5, officers, Section 2. All elected officers shall be unit owners or the designated representative of a unit. Shall reside in Century Village West for a minimum of 9 months, which is being proposed to be changed to 4 months, in the preceding calendar year instead of during the calendar year, and shall have served for at least 1 year as a delegate or as director of his or her member condominium association. No unit shall be permitted to have more than 1 unit owner or designated representative elected to an office. No unit owner may be elected to more than 1 office. The next part is proposed amendment to eligibility, paragraph M&O Committee, Section 7, paragraph C. C. The M&O Committee shall be comprised of 7 members who shall be elected by plurality vote at the meeting of the delegates conducted in March of each year. The delegates shall set the specified date, time, and place for the election of M&O Committee members. At the initial election of M&O Committee members, now we're talking about 1973, at the initial election of M&O Committee members, the delegates shall elect all 7 members. At the initial election, the 3 candidates who receive the highest number of votes shall serve for a 2-year term. And the 4 candidates who receive the next highest number of votes shall serve for a 1-year term. Thereafter, M&O Committee members shall serve, I don't know, it says tie vote, I don't know why. There shall be if there's a tie vote, there shall be a runoff between those candidates, except that there shall be no runoff if one of the candidates in a tie vote or runoff withdraws from the election. In order to be eligible to run for a position as an M&O Committee member, A candidate at the time of the election must be, 1, a permanent resident of Century Village West who is a unit owner of record. A permanent resident is defined as a person who has resided at Century Village West for at least 9 months in the preceding calendar year, and the proposal is to change that to 4 months in the preceding calendar year. Either a member of the executive board or a director of a constituent member condominium association of Cobrua, which basically means you have to either sit here or be a director back home. In accordance with Article 12, Section 1, I, Cobrua President Mike Limongelli, propose the above changes to the eligibility requirements for serving as an officer or M&O committee member from 9 to 4 months in the previous year, signed by Mike Limongelli, December 20th, 2020. In the printed version, the old text is strike through, and you can see the line through all the text, and the new text is underscored, so you know what has been added.
Okay, next month you'll have the one with my signature on it. Yes.
Helene Harris, hi. I'm asking that the next reading at the May meeting have the corrections, the typos that you found, not just Mike's signature, but that line in the second.
Yeah, it'll, trust me, I'll look into it, it'll be correct next
But I
month.
think it needs to be on the record that we're saying there's an error here, and it needs to be corrected and made sure next month, so we want everybody watching for it. Thank you.
He said, get back up to the mic a minute. He wants to say something.
I thought I heard you mention the word error, and I don't see one. Where did you see one?
When you get to the line in paragraph C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 7 lines down, thereafter M&O committee members shall serve tie vote. There's some kind of problem here. Some words need to come out, or a line is missing.
Okay. All right, it'll be correct, and my signature will be on it.
Thank you.
Okay. All right,
If
come on now.
if I can
All right.
interrupt.
Dave, look,
Mike,
yes,
can
sure.
the delegate from Hythe is absolutely correct. There is a typo in what was handed out. That sentence should read, and I'm reading it now into the record, thereafter, M&O committee members shall serve a 2-year term. A delegate may vote for not more than 7 candidates. If there is a tie vote, there shall be a runoff between those candidates, except that there shall be no runoff if one of the candidates in a tie vote or runoff withdraws from the election. That sentence was kind of messed up, I guess, in the typing, and it will be corrected in the reading for next month. And in the, are we too late for the reporter? This will also be printed as notice in the reporter. So it may be, because it has gone to the printer, that the reporter will also show this, this typographical error. Again, putting it in the record what the correct reading should be. Okay?
Okay, thank you. All right, community affairs. Stan?
Actually, the only thing to report on community affairs is the fact that vaccinations can be given to anyone 18 years of age and older. There are so many facilities that are offering these vaccines, and that's one of the reasons it did not come to us on the second go-around. So, just as an example, my granddaughter called Walgreens on Saturday, last Saturday. They gave her an appointment for Monday. They called her on Sunday and said, we have a vacancy. So it's easy to get the appointment, and it's just as easy to get the vaccine. So hopefully everyone will just get a vaccine, period. Any questions? Our meeting with management took place March 17th, 2021, aka St. Patrick's Day. Present for management were Judy Milken, VP, Sen West Communities, Site Administrator, Monica Wells, Senior VP and Chief Financial Officer of Senville Recreation, Abby Koffler, VP Entertainment, and Dan Cruz, VP Facilities Manager. March and the beginning of April were busy months. We had 3 additional meetings. The following highlights are a consensus of all our sessions. We reviewed the theater renovation project. We made some modifications on the ceilings to help keep the cost down. There is no loss of acoustical sounds or acoustics. Permits have been submitted to the county. A video will be in the clubhouse showing what the project is going to look like, what the renovations will look like. We are looking into placing surplus theater seats in the media room. This should make watching movies more comfortable as well as meetings. This is in the planning stage, so we have to see if it'll work out. The property beyond the fence on East Village Lane up to the canal is CVW property. We are seeing how we can utilize this lane. We had a separate meeting to plan for the show seasons to begin November 1st, 2021. There will be a lineup of top shows as always. Information will be forthcoming in a few months. Movies will also be back on the schedule. We are optimistic that COVID-19 situation will back off and allow us to go back to a, quote, normal living status. With California hit hard with COVID-19, bus production has slowed down considerably. We are researching with Academy on how to obtain replacement buses for the time being for some of our buses that are way, way old. Security has been getting a hard time from a number of residents at the satellite pools. Remember, they're doing their job based on guidelines established by CVW management. The end result is a small group of selfish residents are making it difficult for those who have no trouble following established rules. My comment, just keep cool. Collections from delinquent accounts for February amounted to $58,194. Management is currently in the process of adding more chairs to all pools and shortening the distance to 3 feet. SCD guidelines relax, so will the rules. Updated rules and regulations will be posted pertaining to boats, the use of the lake, and tennis courts. Always check channel 63 for updated information. Any questions regarding the report? Hearing none, thank you.
Okay, we have a new committee. It's called the Infinity, which is Comcast, Liaison Committee. Sandy's on that. The reason why we have that is we're noticing that there's damage being done to some of the buildings, and we believe that the cable company is responsible for it. So they're checking the buildings and with the directors and with the presidents and trying to straighten this out. Do you have anything to say about that, Stan?
Right now, we're in the process of working with Wolverton. We have some problems. Hopefully, we shall have it resolved by the end of next week at the latest. So after that, we'll go to other high-rise buildings to see if there are any problems, and if they are, we'll have to correct them.
Okay, Donnie Capes, who's negotiating to get us a new contract a year and a half. Donnie would like to say something. Donnie?
I want to thank Alan Perlman, who has volunteered his time to help out with all the new equipment that's going to be coming available with any of the companies. We will not be discussing any dollars and cents until next January, which has been agreed to with Comcast and with Bluestream. I just want to say thank you to that. As far as the Comcast is going to be going and giving a report to what the status is to the back of the 4-story building, because there is a discrepancy of RJ59 wire and RJ6. We are supposed to have RJ6. That gives you a greater quality of signal in every way, shape, and form. They have got to come back and give us a report of stuff they did not do. And that is going to be given to Stanley within about a month. And then they have got to go to these buildings, they've got to go to the back, they've got to change the wires, and they've got to repair the damage that has been caused by other workers coming in and doing this over the course of the years. And we cannot blame presidents or other companies. It's them that have done it. We're not supposed to, every time they go there, is a guy that's on the committee is to run out in the back and go and check what they've done. They've got to show responsibility. And I will not discuss anything with them until next January, as agreed with Michael. And I'm not going to discuss dollars and cents for Blue Stream until then. Blue Stream is just going to tell me how wireless it's going to be and everything. Elaine, if you want to have some information, Alan Perlman spoke to them for 2 hours yesterday, and I'd like you to talk to him, please, before you leave. And he'll give you a full description. I'm not as well versed as Fred Hackley is or Mr. Perlman is. So they can give you, they've spoken to him at length, and everything's going to be wireless, and you're going to have signal, it's going to be over your wazoo. So they're going to explain it to you. It's over my head, that sort of stuff. I will take care of the negotiations, and Stanley will get a full report shortly on every 4-story building and some of the sloppiness in the 3 stories. Stanley will get that, because it's impossible for Stanley or anybody to run around this entire complex and know what to do, because we're not familiar for what an RG59 is and RG6 is. That's not our lead, okay? So that's what's going to be taking place, and again, thank you very much, Mr. Perlman, and Michael, thank you very much. Have a great day.
I have a question.
Yes, you have a question for Donnie? Okay.
The nature of the problem is that over the course of the years, in Fred, which building is it? Building C. They had put the wires incorrectly, not in the channel on the top. And what that caused, the wires moving over the course of years, leakage, water coming down. Nobody sees it. Nobody understands it. We don't see it. It caused damage. We went through video, all kinds of stuff. They refused to have anything to do with it. So Wolverton had everything removed, wires repaired, wall repaired. Comcast says we're not paying for it. I says you're going to pay for it, trust me. So the bill is being forwarded to them within the next week, Fred, please. And they're going to be paid. Or my name isn't Donnie Cape, they're going to be paid. But they're going to go through this entire complex. Now, it's supposed to be RJ59 is what was here. All the 3-story buildings have, as Mr. Diamond can attest to, RJ6. Some of the 4 stories, certain apartments that had issues, the wire was replaced with RJ6. You guys we went to the back of Cornwall, which building was it? 8E. Mike Lamangello knows as much about wires as he knows about hockey. Nothing. The guy pointed out, and he says, Mr. Lamangello, these wires going up to these 4 apartments are RJ59. Now, how do we know that? This guy was an ex-employee of Comcast. He's now with Blue Stream. And they're explaining to Mike, and Mike goes, what am I supposed to do? The big shot at Comcast, I said, you're getting away with murder. You've got to fix this. You've got to go out there, you've got to take off that channel, and you've got to change those wires to give those people the same quality reception that everybody else has. And that's what they're going to be going to do. Now, I don't expect Stanley to go and do this. That's their job. We don't know what the difference of the wire is, but we know what we're paying for. And when we're giving them $1 million a month, you better believe they're going to get it done. And I will not discuss any contract with them in any way, shape, or form until they complete their obligation. And I will not discuss dollars and cents for Blue Stream. I will only discuss what equipment is going to become available. Okay? And that's going to be done to every building. They're going to have to give Stanley a report, and it's not Stanley's job to go run around the back of the yards.
Can I ask my question that I originally started to ask, and we got sidetracked on the
Sorry.
R6 and RG who, and Archie who works over
All
there?
that crap.
All right. My question is, you approached Blue Stream regarding fiber optic.
I did not approach, they approached us.
All right, I stand corrected. Blue Stream was involved with fiber optic information. In 2017, AT&T purchased Dish. As a result, the FCC said that they had to wire fiber optic into, I forgot how many millions of units and apartments. Question is, why wasn't AT&T, once you went to Blue Stream or spoke with Blue Stream, why wasn't AT&T contacted about fiber optic? And two, I can't believe that Comcast, as large as they are, doesn't have fiber optic.
They might have all of that. I'm not entering anything with Comcast until they fulfill the obligations that they made promises here in this village and the amount of money we pay them. I will not talk to them until they have completed everything, and every single president of that community is going to sign off that their work was done and they're satisfied before I will talk to Comcast again.
And what's about AT&T?
As far as dollars and cents is
And what's
concerned.
about AT&T?
Stanley is going to make sure that all the repairs are done in the village. Donnie's going to negotiate contracts. Donnie has specific instructions from me, the president, who appointed him, that he is to come in with no less than 2 or 3 bids. Donnie is doing that. He went to the Blue Stream, that's one. Don't interrupt, okay? I'm running the meeting, don't interrupt. Donnie is going to Blue Stream, and he's going to others. I'll tell you, I told Donnie this story a while ago. I'm Dave, I'm telling you one more time. Don't interrupt. And you too. I don't interrupt you, don't interrupt me. 4 years ago, I told Donnie this story, we laughed. I wanted to watch football games on Sunday. You put a disc up in the back of your apartment, you can do it. There was a young man. How do I know he's young? I can tell by his voice. He said to me, Mr. Limongelli, in 4 years, there's going to be something the size of a cigar, and you're going to put it on your building, and you're going to get Wi-Fi, and I didn't know what he was talking about. And Donnie and I were laughing the other day when we walked behind my building with Fernando. That's exactly what's happening now. That's exactly what's happening. The contract that we're going to get, that's going to be negotiated, whatever company it is, there's no favorites here. The only favorite is whoever is going to do what's best for you, the residents. You will have Wi-Fi, you will have the best reception, and Donnie knows that.
The reason why Blue Stream is because I'm going to estimate 12 employees have left Comcast, our executives, who are now working for Blue Stream. That's where Blue Stream came along. I also have somebody from Hotwire who is going to be in talks with me, but I will not discuss dollars and cents. I only want to know about equipment until at least January, as agreed with Mike Limongello. But yes, Hotwire is taking an interest as well. Okay, so I don't care about the price as first. I care about the service and what we're going to get, because I'm noticing we have very, very poor service from Comcast. I have one other thing to note. There used to be 172 bona fide Comcast registered employees as service people for the area. There's now 73, and all the rest is subcontractors. I was off the charts when I heard that. Okay, well, thank you. Okay, so, I mean, there's nothing more to say about it. There's no dollars and cents. You'll get all those reports there. What is the name of the large place that takes care that they take care of? no, the other one, Kings Point and Tamarack. They take care of both of those. We will get,
Donnie is going to contact everyone and come back to the presidents. Donnie is going to work his rear end off. The presidents will make the decision to bring it back to the people.
Right. And listen to what you were just saying, as far as the 3-story buildings, we don't have that problem? I'm just saying, we don't have that problem. We're not concerned. Okay. That's another story. Okay.
okay, we're gonna move on. Trust me, I'm just reporting what we're doing, and results will tell us tale. That's all I can say. Mike, thank you very much. Alan, thank you.
Thank you, Donnie. Okay. We're up to, Stan, do you have anything else to say on this committee? Stan, do you have anything else to say about the repairs or anything?
No, the repairs, hopefully we're trying to finish up Wolverton.
That's the president.
It so happened they transferred it to ITG, who previously did the work, and they need a cherry picker to get up to the 4th story. So when they told me they were going to be finished last week, they now qualified it by saying they need a cherry picker to complete the work in Building C. So it's not me saying next week, it's them telling me, and you have to be patient, just like I'm patient. I did, I sent you emails, but you don't seem to read them.
Okay.
You got a chip on your shoulder, that's the problem we have.
All right.
I have another question. If there's any problems with service or your bills, we have a representative that's handling it who's been quite helpful. So if you can't resolve it, just contact me through Cobrua's office and I'll do what I can do for you.
Yes, go ahead.
I just want to note my objection to you saying to this gentleman what you just did. It wasn't appropriate. There are chips on shoulders here, but I suspect most of them are not in this audience. So I think you owe that gentleman an apology. Or that lady, whoever it was.
I will apologize, but it works both ways.
Okay. No. Okay. Old business. Anybody have anything under old business? Anybody have anything under new business? Okay, good and welfare from the delegates. Do we have anything under good and welfare from the delegates? Do we have anything good and welfare from the residents? There's a gentleman back there has his hand up. Okay, so we'll wait. That's okay. Okay. Yes, take the mic, please. Tell us who you are. You have 2 minutes, but if it's interesting, I'll extend it.
I know I got 2 minutes, so I'll go fast.
Okay.
The automatic hand dryers in the bathrooms, I think they spread germs. 2, okay. The south gate, when you're entering, the pedestrians going by, the driver coming in, the pole goes up and doesn't give that much time to the driver to make a decision. In fact, when I came in last week, I stopped for a pedestrian and the pole came down on the back of my car, which was no big deal. And also one other item, the dumpsters on the right side, they got a drain hole, and it should be capped with another plug because the rodents could enter that drain hole. That's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yes, miss. Better lower it. Can somebody help her lower that mic? Can you do it? He'll help you. This gentleman will help you. Yes, ma'am.
I'm wondering about bingo. We're allowed 2 people at a table. I understand the card room is open and there are 6 people at table. How come at bingo, we can only have 2 people? Why can't we have at least 4 people or 3 people?
I will find out. I will find out for you.
I mean, we were requested.
I'll talk to Pauline, who happens to be my neighbor. And I'll talk to Pauline about it, and we'll see what we can do. I'll bring it up with administration. Do me a favor. Could you write it down or something? Or what did you
Yeah,
want?
I wrote it down. I sent that to Judy Milligan a couple of times about it.
Okay, I'll talk to Judy. So you want to increase the number of people at a table at bingo?
Right, at least 4 people at a table. The 10 people, you allow 6 people in the card room at a table, so how come you can't allow?
I will look into it. I promise you I will look into it.
Okay, and the movies, why can't we have movies on Friday night? Nobody, I mean, when we've had a big crowd at the movies, it's never full. I don't understand why we haven't had movies on Friday night.
Stan, that's his product. This is it.
Right now, the theater is not available to the media room. Well, right now, because of the COVID, the management decided not to have movies. There's no entertainment, there's no shows, and there's no movies. This is a management decision based on their legal department.
Michael?
We'll look into that, the number of people at the table, though. Yes, sir.
Sam Csack with Guilford. Hey, we discussed this a couple of months ago, and I just wanted to know up-to-date status on portable bathrooms available at the tennis courts, pickleball courts, that could service the whole community. Walkers, bike riders, joggers.
You're talking to the right guy.
And the pickleball. I mean, it seems that, especially on courts where there's no bathrooms, I mean, I don't know what you guys expect. I mean, you're gonna be, people are gonna be using the grass. And it's silly. I mean, this is a common thing. This is nothing extraordinary. Portable bathrooms. You know, I hear that they're hurricane problems, but they are portable. So if you know a hurricane's coming, you move them. No one's going to be out there in a hurricane.
We're looking into, sir, we're looking into both. We are. We've been looking into portable ones and stationary ones. We really are. Yes, Judy.
They had shows outside, late in the afternoon, you bring your own chair, somebody's there, entertaining, no cost. They have movies 3 or 4 times a week. In the party room, they set up screen, they put chairs separate, you gotta wear your mask, done beautifully, no problem. Why can't we do it here?
Look into it.
This is the 3rd or 4th time I have brought this up.
And it's the 3rd or 4th time we brought it up. When you bring it up here, we bring it up at the M&O committee. Stanley can tell you that. Stanley can tell you. But you don't understand is that we do bring it up. We don't just fluff it off. Because not only do they say Deerfield, they said that they had movies in Pembroke Pines indoors in their theater. All right, we don't have a theater, we can't do it. But at that time, we did have a theater. They got 8 or 10 people, that doesn't matter, at least they tried. We can ask again. I don't know where, to Judy, I don't know where we could do it. I'm honest about it.
What about the sing law? What about the sing law? That they have.
Yeah.
They used to have every Monday night. Why can't they have it now? You have bingo, when you see 2 people at a table.
Right.
Why can't you have the sing law?
Because on the sing-along, they felt that the use of the microphone was not sanitary enough.
I have this, and why couldn't you have a special cloth you could put on it and take it off?
This was a decision by the legal department, even though we brought it up a number of times. We're bound to listen to what the legal department of Century Village has to say. We may not agree with it all the time, but unfortunately, they're the ones that own the facility, and they can make that rule.
And we do bring this up. People don't think we bring this up. We bring this up constantly because we listen to you and our neighbors. You know, every time I get out of my car, someone says to me, Mike, how come we can't have karaoke? How come bingo? How come this? We got bingo back, and, you know, we'll look into it. We're trying. We are. We really are. Stanley hit it right on the head. They always say their legal department, it's their property. Says no.
That's an easy out. That's an easy out.
Okay.
Easy out, that's their answer, unfortunately.
Michael,
Yes.
at the floor?
Fred, they're in line there.
There's a mic here, there's two mics.
Yeah, but they're in line there. Nobody's in line there.
I've been waiting here for the whole
Fred,
meeting.
Fred,
Mike Hale from
Yeah.
Cobrua.
yes.
Three little items. Well, the first one is a near fatality I can report on the driving situation coming down that stretch right off the gate here on
Okay,
the
go ahead.
southern gate. I don't notice cars speeding there a lot of times. But this time I was almost involved in something. A security car had come and stopped to let us go across the sidewalk. But another car, a white car, was coming right next to that security guard. And as we were stepping out into the sidewalk, this other car wasn't stopping. We just stepped back. It came by, I estimate, around 45 miles an hour down that road. And so we motioned the security guy to chase this guy, to do something, try and catch him. But he said, he shouted out of his car and said, no, we can't stop anybody. That's someone else.
He's right. He's right.
So anyway, I thought I'd mention that. I don't know what you can do about it, but that was a
Unfortunately,
very
nothing.
risky thing. Another thing is,
Yes. Excuse me, Fred, I'm trying to listen to this gentleman. Okay, yes, sir, go ahead.
another thing I'd like to mention, occasionally, I heard you mention something about buses, getting a new bus.
Yes.
I would just like to ask for, put the idea in that it might be a battery bus or something. Because occasionally, I'm up in my apartment, and the wind's blowing a certain way, I can smell diesel fumes right inside my...
And not only that, I can sit in my living room and I can hear them too.
Yeah, so I would definitely...
So we're trying, but the new buses should correct that,
Good. And another thing I can mention, I've heard that, I've read around places that you can buy grass that is self-mowing. It goes up to like 3 inches or 4 inches and stops growing. And if we look into that...
No, I don't think we're going to look into that. I don't think we're going to look into grass that doesn't grow. Hey, I don't call anyone. We're not going to look into that. You know, we're really not. Okay, thank you.
Something along those lines would say
Okay.
one of those. Okay.
The people waiting in line out there, the one that's controlling this is not the president. It's the sergeant at arms. See the guy in the blue shirt there? So if you have a complaint about not taking your turn, don't come to me. He's the guy that's controlling it. Yes, ma'am. Yes, go.
Hi, I'm Judy Blumenthal on ID. And I just want to say, I understand most of what you said in terms of security and all. I just want to give you a little bit, just a short background. Right before the pandemic started, especially afterwards, I was supposed to be in the talent, the resident talent show, as well as many others, which of course was for school balls. And then I said to my partner, no, I feel like singing. I said, let's sit under the tree, across the way, and let's sing. I said, the rest would be called the Idiot. Anyway, I did that, and one by one, people started coming around and saying, hey, what can we
Yeah.
sing along?
Do me a favor, talk into the mic.
copies, made a lot of copies, distributed them. Everybody who came, was distance, was masked, everybody enjoyed it. And they said, what about Jewish songs? I said, you have it. So I went home and I typed up and anyway, Jewish songs, Italian songs, Irish songs, put together packets, distributed them, and everybody enjoyed that. Then came Memorial Day and patriotic time. I typed up songs for every branch of service in a row. My partner took out his bugle, we had a moment of silence, and we played taps. It was a lovely, lovely thing. Everybody enjoyed it. Now I understand I can't do it because for insurance purposes, I will be liable if someone trips over me or maybe hurts themselves or falls. Okay, and of course, then insurance, and I'll be liable if I understand.
Okay.
Now, I'm not going to sign anything to be liable. People were so appreciative of what I did, and I told them, please, I appreciate the thanks, but I'm getting as much as I'm giving. And then karaoke came, and I understand why they can't with the pool and everything, even the way it could be a hazard. However, I don't understand still why they cannot have it here in the party room with such a big room and everybody just following guidelines, why it cannot be done. And I'm not clear about that. Because now there's nothing. People are saying Judaism is going up and down the grass and I said no.
Okay. Right. I can't answer the question right now. Hello, Miss. That's it. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Bob here. I would just like, from an educational point of view, to understand the powers of Cobrua or the M&O committee when I hear that the lawyers for the leaving organization say you can't do it. Do we have any power to challenge what they are saying? They may be wrong, they may not be in compliance with CDC guidelines. Other communities may be doing more for their residents. What power do you folks have? What power do we have as residents to either picket or complain or hold back funds? Is there nothing that we can do when they say, no, you can't have it? That's my question.
Stan?
At this point, every time we bring it up, the management people go by the CDC guidelines and what their attorney tells them. The way things are going now, well, don't forget, when you refer to Deerfield in Broward County, their rules are a little different. It's just, we waited it out a year. Hopefully things will ease up and it'll all be behind us and things will come back to normal.
Yes, miss. Okay. But he's running the show, not you. What do you say? He's the sergeant at arms. I don't want to be disrespectful. Okay, yes, sir.
Thank you very much. My name is Richard Adelson. I'm at Fanshawe L. I've been bringing this topic up for the last 3 years. I've spoken to directors of the buildings in which I have apartments that I rent. And I've come up with problems that I've shared with this board and members for the 3 years. I have a tremendous amount of correspondence relating to this problem, but nothing has really been resolved to the point where it has any meaning so far as unit owners are protected. I'd like to express a few of the ideas from the application itself that Fanshawe has.
Excuse me.
This is,
wait.
I would appreciate if you
Sir,
don't interrupt me.
please, let me, I'm not on to. If it's an association problem.
It is an association problem.
It is an application for an apartment is an association problem.
This is an association problem because it's been brought up for 3 years.
Sir,
it's been related to the association.
I can't help you. You can talk to me for 5 minutes. I can't help you.
Well, I'd like to share.
You have to go to your association.
I've gone to the association,
Well, then
and they have referred me to management.
Sir, I can't help you.
I would appreciate.
Can I help you? I can.
I would like to express the thoughts that I have in
No,
mind.
you can't. You can't because it has nothing to do with us.
It does have everything to do
It
with
has
it.
nothing to do with Cobrua.
It
has
does.
to do with an application to an apartment in Fanshawe.
Yeah,
We
but
don't
the-
rent apartments. We don't sign off on apartments. We have no power to help you. I can't help you, sir. So I
Wait
would
a
like to
second.
help you, but I can't help you.
Well, let me ask
No,
this
I
question.
can't, sir. I
You're not
can't.
listening to me.
Sir, I don't want to tell you again. I'm trying to be very nice. I can't help you.
I'm trying
okay?
to explain why
They
you
can't
can help me.
Sir.
Why don't you listen to why you
I'm
can
not going
help
to tell you one more time. Now, I'm trying to be polite. I'm trying to tell you we can't help you. They can't help you.
Well, who do
Please.
you expect to
Sir,
help me?
No. Go to your association.
I've
Please.
gone to the
No,
association.
but
and
then
this
I
is-
can't help you. Sir, I can't. You don't
This-
understand. We have no power to help you.
All
None.
the
I
associations
can't
have
do anything
boilerplate
to help.
applications.
Sir, I'm going to tell you one more time. I'm trying to be polite. I'm trying to tell you the facts. If I could help you, I would help you, but I can't help you.
I'm trying to come up with a solution to the
Well,
problem.
if you come up with a solution, bring it to the association.
You want me to deal with the association about the fact that they...
There's the vice president of Fanshawe.
Okay.
Richard, right? Months ago, we took the application, what was it, about 28 pages, and brought it down to 11. Right? And they're still working on doing more. That is still in the works right now as we speak to bring it down, and they're even thinking about putting it on electronically. So it is being addressed.
Dave, I've received the Fanshawe
Okay, sir.
application,
It's
the latest
with
one,
sergeant arms,
and it
please
has
tell me.
18 pages.
Please.
It has
Enough.
18
Sir, we can't help you. I can't. Please.
Who can help me?
Your association. It's an association problem. I can't tell you that. I'm trying, I told you 15 times. I can't tell you again. There is no one in this room that can help you. If someone in this room could help you, I tell them to help you. We can't help you. You have to go to your association meeting, bring it up. And if they say they can't help you,
That relates to all the associations.
no. We're not going to discuss association then. Go ahead, miss. Go. Go ahead, miss. Go ahead.
I'm ready, I'm going. I'm a resident here listening here, and I have a very basic question. Are there background checks that go along with an application, whether you're an owner
No.
or a tenant? No?
No.
The answer's no.
That's up to the association.
That's up to the association.
Okay, so you would mean like Cornwall Association?
Yeah, right. You'd have to go to your board, and the board would have to pass a resolution, and people would have to say that if you want to rent wherever you live, you set up the rules, background checks, no background
Okay,
checks.
but that would have to go to a vote of the owners to have background checks?
Yes.
Or would it just be in,
The association should check it with their attorney
Right.
for legal advice.
But the reason I ask is because I'm finding that a lot of these condos are being used as Airbnbs. And it's very unsettling, a single woman like me, with loans, people come and go. And that's not what it should be, so that's why I brought up the question. I will bring it up to my association.
What would happen is the association will then get together with the management company and set guidelines.
Okay, one other question. I've noticed a lot of expired tags in my parking lot.
Yes, ma'am.
And it's unsettling because some of these tags are associated to people that are not on leases and things like that. Who do I bring that up to?
Next, your president will be at a meeting next Monday. The code enforcement people from the county are coming down, and that's one of the questions that will be answered.
Is that open to?
No. No. Tell your president, I'm sure your president's going to say what he wants.
Who's the president of Fanshawe?
Al Weinstein.
Okay.
Here's your vice president. You can see him after the meeting. You can see him after the meeting.
What is your name, sir?
Dave Merzon. You can see him after the meeting.
Thank you. And when you referred about administration, who is the administration? When you refer to administration?
Well, it's Judy Milligan right now. All you have to do, go to the front desk, There's a redheaded woman there called Sherry. Everyone knows Sherry. And if you have any questions for administration, she will guide you.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Michael?
Yes, Fred.
Hi. I would like to speak to what happened this morning with regard to the amendment and the bylaw committee.
Yes.
We heard a report from the chairperson of the bylaw committee,
Right.
dated, I think, March 1st, that there was some meeting. What was omitted from the report, which was subsequently reported to the Cobrua Executive Committee last Monday, that I believe you were attended, was that the committee decided that this amendment should not reach the floor of the delegates meeting. I objected to that because my understanding, having read the bylaws and been involved in union, when I was in Local 306, we did a lot of amendments and bylaws. My understanding is that the bylaw committee is ministerial, that they're just supposed to take the bylaw, make sure that I's and the T's are crossed, and then pass it to the delegates, who are the actual deciders on whether the bylaw should be passed. So I did write a letter to Mike and Lynn and Vice President Sid Schwartz, and the committee decided to overrule whatever the decision was, and that, yes, I was right, that it should be brought to this body for a decision. And yet, when Alan Perlman started to introduce the amendment, once again, he started speaking to the merits of the issue. Now, I'm not saying, excuse me.
That's been corrected.
Excuse me.
The woman from...
Excuse me. I'd like my 2 minutes, all right?
Okay.
All right? Now, he is not supposed to be doing that. He knows he's not supposed to be doing it. He was told that his decision of his committee was overruled and that it's the delegates. And yet he decides that he's going to plant seeds, as someone said, and try to pre-program the delegates against it. Now, I'm not for this amendment. I'm not against this amendment. I believe the wisdom of the delegates should prevail. But I am for following the rules. Alan Perlman is not following the rules. When it was pointed out through a point of order, which is always in order, I'll repeat, a point of order may, in fact, interrupt the speaker, provided it's a legitimate point of order. Why? What's a point of order means? It means there's an error being made in procedure. That error was that he was arguing the motion. That's not his job.
Right, it's been corrected.
I would like to make a recommendation that he be removed as chairman of this committee, Mike Limongelli, and I would volunteer to replace him. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, all right, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, you know me as Al Pia, the guy in the green shirt, the landlord. Well, regards to these rental application packages, I have recently found an obsolete situation with the Cornwall package. I'm sure Lynn knows about it. I discussed it with her. We pay it's a community issue because this probably prevails throughout all the associations. You pay $100 fee and they're not updated with what is in there.
No, Al, it's an association. Bring it up at the cornball meeting.
Well, I piggybacked on Richard Edelson with his issues, okay? $100 fee, or the $300 fee was waived 4 years ago. Bonnie Burden's name is still on an application instruction sheet. She's not there 4 years.
Al, if you bring it up at the association, I will look into it.
Well, you guys all should look into it with First Service. You're paying $100 fee.
What do I always say at the
Don't
meeting?
they know what they're putting out in paperwork? If it's obsolete or if it's current?
Al, what do I always say at the meetings? We're volunteers, that's why we hire them,
I
right?
understand,
always
but
say
you
that?
got the contact and you know the paperwork package, and you should review it. You should know if it's current or if it's obsolete.
Lynn got one the other day that said Bonnie Burden on it.
I know.
You're right.
That's because I sent it to her.
That's right. Okay.
The whole package, the whole works is
Okay,
obsolete.
Al, bring it up. Yes. Yes, sir.
Arthur Harris, hi. I just want to make an observational statement that it's pathetic that there are more non-delegates at this meeting now than there are delegates. And the delegates should be ashamed for walking out of an ongoing meeting.
I don't know if there's more delegates than non-delegates. Okay, anybody else? Okay, thank you, appreciate you coming. I know it's not easy. Thank you very much. Have a motion to adjourn, because I don't have the motion. Alan says the meeting goes on forever.
You can sell this at a network.